are here at the downtown parking garage for this edition of Commissioner's Corner. With me today is Commissioner Victor Seby Haddad. Welcome, Commissioner.
Hey, good morning. It's great to be here.
There's a lot going on in your district, District 5, where downtown McAllen sits. Talk about some of the changes we're seeing in downtown McAllen.
Of course. So there is a lot of things, as you mentioned. So where to start, right? I think right here in downtown, people have seen a little bit of a focus on downtown improvements. Some people might have noticed we replaced some of the oaks with comas on Main Street. And that is not only to help the buildings and the sidewalks that have been disrupted, but it's also to move along the notion that the city is moving towards native trees and focusing on native plants. Very recently, people also saw that we were removing the gum and cleaning all the sidewalks. I think there's a renewed focus with the commission on downtown beautification, but we've got to start with the basics. We need to spruce up what's already there as we focus on programs that will help the businesses thrive in the future.
And of course, the community could always help by not disposing their gum on the sidewalks of McAllen.
Of course, we have plenty of trash receptacles, and we hope that people would respect our downtown.
I know people were on social media going crazy about this. We're like, it's not our fault that people tend to do this, but it's a good time for people to remind people, just be courteous and dump your gum.
Yes, and I think it was a bit overdue. We cleaned up really years and years of residue and just dirt and grime on the sidewalks.
And I know during COVID, it's allowed some of our crews to do stuff that normally they wouldn't do because we're not doing big events. We're not doing other things that the city normally does in our regular year. And due to COVID, I know y'all are going through the current budget process. Talk about a little bit about that.
Yeah, so COVID definitely put a little bit of a damper on how fast we could move forward on very large scale projects, which is why we focused on things where we could find funds within different budgets or small grants, including the tree replacement, the gum removal, but we also have the Refresh 50/50 program, which really helps invigorate a lot of the businesses very close to downtown on the main corridors. On top of that, we have Imagine Tomorrow, which not only maxed out its budget for last year, even during COVID, but we've even expanded and added over $100,000 to this next coming budget. So we have seen a lot of renovations and we've seen a lot of use for those small programs. So we already know this part of town, District 5, the old urban core in downtown, is really looking for help and really looking for all types of programs that can assist them. So, and I know the new mayor is really trying to champion some focus on downtown, so we're very excited about what's to come next year.
And I know in McAllen we promote small business because that's what makes our community great. And there's opportunity for business owners to sort of spruce up their storefronts and their sidewalk, where people can go to their business, right?
Of course. Yeah, so one of the main programs that's been utilized is Refresh 50/50, where the city will match 50% of what your investment is, up to $15,000. And that has proven to be highly successful, especially for a lot of storefronts who just don't have the necessary capital to replace either signage or awnings or even just a refresher of paint on the outside of their building. So we've seen a tremendous improvement of a lot of facilities around 23rd Street, some on 10th Street. And I think in this coming cycle, we're looking to expand that hopefully into the center of downtown. And I think a lot of the businesses in downtown will heavily benefit from that.
You know, we've sort of survived the first year of COVID in months. What do you project for the future of McAllen going forward?
Well, one, I feel that McAllen understands its budget and how a pandemic will affect its budget. I don't think we're going to be hit as hard as we were in 2020, but we're still on a path of recovery. The bridges are still closed to non-essential travel, which is very important to downtown. But in that time frame, we can still continue to focus on downtown and show these merchants that we haven't forgotten about them. And McAllen now knows how to sort of manage our resources, how to plan for these types of events. And so I think we're not only more confident, but we're getting a lot more aggressive, especially with the stimulus money and the COVID funds that have come in from the federal government. We're going to see a tremendous amount of projects really roll out or be approved in the next year. They might not all start, but I think we're going to see the highest number of projects approved in this coming fiscal year.
I know, Commissioner, during the pandemic, people were always asking me, so Roy, how many days did you get to stay at home where we were closed for business? McAllen never shut down. As people don't understand this, city operates because there's residents and there's businesses, there's people that depend on us. The city never shut down a day. They were always operating. Why was that important to keep the city going so people had a normal way of life, as normal as possible?
Of course, city government is really the service provider, and it's a daily service provider. Most of what we do is really unseen by the community. And if those services stop, I promise it'll be noticed. Not only did we want to ensure that we maintained all our staff and that we maintained the health of the city and its budget, but we wanted to ensure that the residents themselves, while they were going through a hard time, did not experience any detrimental effects to the services that they are accustomed to. We've set a very high standard in the city of McAllen, and I think we've continued to either maintain that and hopefully exceed it for our residents.
And I know one important thing that people need to know, the city, the school district, the Chamber of Commerce, everybody works together in unison. So you can't find one agency doing something different, right?
I agree. We have great partnerships here in the city of McAllen with McAllen ISD, with the Chamber of Commerce, with our business partners, and really almost every ancillary organization. And they all play a part because they all realize that if we don't work together, the solutions aren't going to be as good as they can be.
And I know recently, I mean, talking about innovation, the Metro McAllen has Micro McAllen out there. I mean, things are changing as we continue discovering new stuff.
Yeah, so Metro has done tremendous things just in the last few months. And it's right here hubbed in downtown McAllen at our bus station. We've got new Micro McAllen, which is going to be servicing the Northwest Corridor, and it's going to provide easier access for people to get either to our bus routes or designated, we've got over 150 virtual stops that they can choose from. The great thing about Micro McAllen is that as it gets utilized, that information and data will allow us to then adjust the virtual stops to make it even more convenient for the people that are using it. And just last week, we were at an unveiling of 8 brand new buses for the city of McAllen's Metro department. Those buses are regular route buses, but they look beautiful, they're brand new, the people inside are comfortable, they're spacious, and they all come with free Wi-Fi.
That's awesome. And by the way, folks, it's really a smooth ride, and you jump on and you can do your work. If you go to school, you can get on there and finish your homework, study while you go. It's really incredible. And by the way, everyone does still wear a mask. They do. And that's something the city encourages you all to do. Contrary to what you hear out there, it's still a good, healthy practice to do.
It is. We still recommend that people wear masks. We feel that the Delta variant is still causing a little bit of uneasiness. We do see our hospitals full. We need to listen to our county health department. We need to listen to our leaders who are looking at the information and data and understand that by wearing a mask or by taking the appropriate measures, we all remain safer and healthier.
And I know the city has been busy trying to open up as much as possible. We have the McAllen Parks and Rec department that's operating and it had its summer's program. The parks are open. What can you tell people about the city parks?
Well, the parks are fully open, and the Parks Department is doing a tremendous job of doing the sanitation on a regular basis. We haven't had any information related to any concerns over the parks, and we see people enjoying it. I think people enjoying being outside. We're kind of at the tail end of our summer season, even though I think it lasts pretty late till the December. But you also see a lot of projects moving through parks. We've got maybe 5 to 7 park projects, new play systems being installed currently at this moment. We've seen updates where we've got parks focusing on new additions to trails, and we're focusing on east-west corridors and connections for trails with the county precincts and working with them as well. Just here in District 5, we've had park improvements planned for Crockett. And as soon as we have a little bit of assurance and I think uniform decision-making with the school district, we've got some great plans for Crockett, which is really going to spruce up these inner city kind of parks. And once we get done with that one, my plan is to move to the next one within District 5.
And I know also, while y'all were at home, the city was busy with drainage projects. We had that bond election. You got a lot done this past year and a half.
Yeah, so we did probably over $20 million of projects just in this last year. Coming into the new fiscal year, we're looking to speed up the drainage fee utility projects that were spread out over the next 7 years. We're looking to do those in the next 2 or 3 years. We've also approved a tremendous amount of large infrastructure projects throughout the city and in collaboration with the counties for mass drainage. Just in District 5, people are going to see over $5 million of drainage projects in the next fiscal year. I think what most people currently notice is we're working on all the bridges crossing Bicentennial into the east part of McAllen, and that is all to expand our drainage. So we appreciate the patience that our citizens have afforded us on those projects, but we're going to be finishing Harvey, La Vista, You've got all Tamarack, all those will be completed, and I think we have about 18 months until we finish all of those.
That's awesome. And of course, people, you can still enjoy the hike and bike trails. You will notice all the different construction projects, the drainage projects. This has been a very wet summer, and McAllen has an experience in the past because of the drainage projects. And I don't think people give credit enough to the thinking the forethought y'all thought this was needed in our community.
It was heavily needed, and it's going to be one of those needs that continues, because as the city grows, your infrastructure and your drainage needs to be expanded as well. But we're always focused on the future, and we're always focused on preserving the homes and the property of our residents. And as long as we can do that and keep up, I think we'll do a good job.
And what they do to the projects, because I've learned that through the process, there's a process to this. They prioritize projects due to if an area continues to flood, it has a history of flooding, depending what kind of rains, if it's one of those 100-year storms or whatever, and that's how y'all prioritize. It's not like y'all go pick and choose your favorite spots.
No, we prioritize projects by the ones that have the most impact for the part of the city that's being negatively affected by the storms or rainwater. And so we try to either alleviate running water, standing water, or in the worst case, flooding.
Alrighty, Commissioner, anything else you would like to add?
No, I'm excited for this coming year, and I look forward to providing more and more updates to the citizens of McAllen. I think they're going to see a lot of work coming out of the city of McAllen this year. We've got a healthy budget, we've got a good stimulus money, but we always need more feedback from the community, because the best feedback and the best way for us to do our work is to understand what the community is needing.
So for Commissioner's Corner with Commissioner Seby Haddad, I'm Roy Ganthu with the City of McAllen.